after this.
If
I long wins.
Abandon the elevator and basically swim out of the parking garage.
Wrong man, wrong
To the
TV.
sound of two people being on the
Why when they update my phone for?
And so
All
as they
that big,
swam out,
all that party,
no
up
first
there.
responders arrived. They knew what
Yeah,
happened.
no, God, it
Clearly,
was
they were going to drown. As they
yeah, I could react to this on my phone.
And then finally, first responders showed up, and when they got there,
Yeah, I could react to this on my phone. He can't do that.
dived down the elevator shaft, which by this point was totally submerged. And then when they reached the car, they had to cut a hole in the ceiling.
For what?
And
They kind of
pulled
old and
Scott
selling for.
out, and even though they rushed them to the hospital, unfortunately, they both died.
I mean, I thought that was it. I can't be it, y'all.
On the evening of July
That mine back on.
a 49-year-old politician
Yeah, I can do this.
paced around the living room inside his home, which was located in a suburb of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Maslin was feeling very anxious because tonight in his home he was going to have a very important meeting. So Maslin was already a very successful politician. He was a state assemblyman, which is sort of like a state congressperson. But what he really coveted, and he wanted more than anything else in his political career, was to become the state's Menteri Besar, which is sort of like being the state's governor. But to get this role, Maslin had to be appointed. Realistically, he didn't know if that was going to happen. And that was in part because recently he had felt like his political power was sort of, slipping away from him. And on top of that, he was getting older and he sort of felt like his popularity was waning too.
Yeah, I can do this.
So he felt like, in order for me to get appointed to become the state's Menteri Besar,
favorites.
I really need to find a unique way to reclaim that political power and popularity. And that was going to be the central focus of a big meeting at his house that night. So Maslin continued to pace around, anxiously checking his watch, waiting for these people to show up. And sure enough, late that night, he heard a knock on the door. He hustled over to the door and he made sure it looked okay. He opened it up, and standing in the hallway is this unbelievably beautiful woman who's flanked by these two men that he didn't know. And immediately, Maslin is just completely drawn to this woman. She had long dark hair, a smile in her eyes.
You're trying to see a woman, they act different. Oh, y'all.
And she really looked like a celebrity, at least as Maslin imagined celebrities look up close. This woman's name was Mona Fandey. And actually, to some degree, she was a celebrity. Back in the 1980s, she had released a pop music album that had been very popular all over Malaysia, and so she was kind of famous in Malaysia. Now, in the early 1990s, Mona was done singing, that part of her life was over, but she had launched this brand new second career post-music.